What is Lego DACTA? Well, let me tell you, it's something that's not talked about a whole lot. The most common context would probably be that they're rare or expensive, like you'll see in this Beyond the Brick interview with the owner of Atlanta Brick Co.
We kind of lumped in these educational sets together. You know, we've got DACTA here, which is their older educational sets. I think these were from the 90s. You had to be an educator in order to get these sets. Okay. So not anyone could get them. It's not super exciting.
Not super exciting?
But they are expensive because they're rare. They didn't make a lot of them. Lego sells their educational stuff for what seems like a lot more money, maybe 3 times the price, because they're educational. Maybe because they don't make as many or they put rare parts in them or something, I don't know.
Okay, so he is correct there that they didn't make very many of these. They were sold to educational markets. As far as rare pieces, yes and no. For the most part, they are very common pieces. But things like the DACTA Control Lab, were certainly never released to the public, while things like the Technic Control Center were released as official Lego sets. Now look, this isn't a hit piece on Beyond the Brick or Atlanta Brick Co. I like third-party resellers of Lego. I have a local Bricks and Minifigs, and I like to go dig through the bulk bin. Beyond the Brick, I've followed them since they were an audio-only podcast called A Look at Lego.
Hello and welcome to episode 33 of A Look at Lego.
I'm Matthew. Wait, we're Beyond the Brick now.
So I watched that video and I found it funny that he said they weren't super interesting or super exciting, I think is what he said. But to me, this is a massive, massive part of my childhood. And I'm going to explain why and kind of talk about what DACTA really was. So this is kind of an introductory episode. I have planned for years to make dedicated videos about each of these sets and the things that they try to teach kids and why they're so unique. But for this video, it's just going to be an overview. I actually have some DACTA catalogs that would have been sent to teachers back in the day. And I've collected quite a bit of these sets, as much as I can find. Curriculum, anything. So we're going to kind of briefly touch on all of that. I also want to say it's something that this stuff can be hard to find. It took me years to find a DACTA catalog. My first look at them in decades was because of a Eurobricks user, 1963 Maniac. She had some catalogs and she made some scans so I could look at them again. And it brought back so many memories. I can't even describe how it felt to look at them after all those years. And since then, I have found a few catalogs on eBay or just here and there. A lot of this stuff I think is lost media. Maybe that's a little strong for some of it, but I definitely do know of some software that hasn't been accounted for, that myself and others are looking for. So if you ever find anything with a DACTA logo, a floppy disk, anything, let somebody know because it might not be archived and it might not be available anymore. So I definitely want to thank the people that have archived all this stuff. Evan K has done a lot of archiving software and manuals and curriculum, things like that. There are a few YouTube channels that have some of the old VHS tapes that were distributed with these sets. And I'll link some of those in the description. I'm not sure, I want to organize this all information somewhere. I'm not sure how to go about that, but maybe I'll give updates in future videos. But for now, let's just take a look at some Lego DACTA stuff. Okay, so to start things off, I figured we might as well look at some sets. I think that's what's most interesting to most people. Then I do have a catalog I want to kind of go through later. So these were the two most common packaging. So that's the same set, and this is the same set. So you had these in the kind of cardboard, maybe not cardboard, but whatever this would be called. Okay, I almost thought it was sealed, but it's sealed on one side. So we got our instructions. We've got all these like fun little cutouts and stuff that go onto the build. So you can see there, that's what it would look like. And what I really liked is they were really good about organization and what pieces go where and all that. And we'll see more of that. But that's one of the things that makes it stand out. You're in a classroom, you got lots of kids. You need to keep this stuff somewhat organized. So, I love that they went the extra mile with that. So there's only, 2 main builds for this set. But there would also be additional curriculum with different things, and you could try different things with the build to learn more principles. And I think that absolutely has to factor into the cost of these sets, is the curriculum. We'll look at some of it, but it is vast. I mean, we're talking huge, thick books, and somebody had to write them all, you know? So yeah, we've got these are laminated. I think that might have been the school themselves that laminated these. And it looks like I'm missing a card. There should be a card under here that say what pieces go where. So we'll put this back together. But I want to try to find anything that is an actual Lego DACTA set. I like to find both packages if I can. It's not a huge deal, and I'm certainly not going to spend a ton of money to try to find them. So this set is one of the Control Lab sets. So this could be used with the DACTA Control Lab, or it could be used with the Technic Control Center. So either from a computer or from the Technic Control Center, which I imagine some people might be familiar with it because it was released in a few sets back in the day. So yeah, this is really awesome set, and this is one that comes with a motor. We've got 4 different builds here, so we've got some kind of rotating thing. We've got an elevator, which I have built, and I think shown in a few videos. Just here, there's little clips. Yeah, this is some kind of drawing robot thing, which is very cool, and a dinosaur. That is one awesome Lego dinosaur, if I do say myself. I don't think I've built that. I need to. So this is some of the kind of extra stuff here. It shows you where all the pieces go and all that kind of stuff. So it came with a motor and a lamp. And then we've got all the pieces there, a couple minifigs. Oh, and a sound element. So it did have that too. It actually had 3 outputs that you could use. Let's look at the other one here. And this one actually has the pin. This thing is pretty hard to find. I don't think it works anymore. I think I've tried it. But yeah, I was really glad to find a set that actually had one. So we've got same pieces that were in the other set. I don't think there's really any differences compared to the other packaging. It's just the packaging that's different. I don't know if one was more expensive than the other. This was something they did for a long period of time. It's not like this is the old one and this is the new one, from my understanding. I think it was an option that you could buy either. Because something that's kind of overlooked, they'll say, oh, well, this set is from 1993, or this set's from 95, or whatever. These sets had an extremely long lifespan, some of them being sold for over a decade, because it was the educational market. So, you know, they would use that same curriculum for long periods of time. And if they needed additional sets, additional curriculum, or whatever they needed, it needed to be available. It wasn't just like the sets of today where they're here for a year or two and then they're gone forever. So that's something I wanted to mention. I've got, let's see, let's grab this set over here. So I think this one has the bottom card. Yes. So if we were to carefully lift this up, yeah, that's where all your pieces go. That is so cool. And just very well organized and everything. We've got a motor, battery box. I need to put a cable in there. I need to complete some of these. We've got this is a real metal hook. It was in a few Lego sets, Technic sets, but did definitely come in some of the Lego DACTA sets. This one's not 100% complete. I need to get the rubber bands and stuff. It's little pieces like that kind of throw me off sometimes. The cables I repair myself because the rubber insulation just flakes off and gets everywhere. I have tutorials for that. But what I try to do is just go on Bricklink and look up, you know, what exact cable it was and how long it was, and then I try to make one in that length. Okay, so here's another comparison between the 2 different packagings. This is the granddaddy of all sets. I mean, this thing is massive. I don't think it's the biggest set. I know there was one that was it was kind of a parts pack, but it was organized like this, and it just had tons of motors and gears and all that kind of stuff. But I love the organization here. I just think it's so satisfying to see all the blue and yellow and the, you know, it's just so satisfying to look at. You got 4 lamps, 3 motors, you know, so it's just so cool. So this is the front of that box. This is one I need to get a better box of. It's got some pencil holes through it or whatever. And then of course we've got the plastic packaging here. Well, that's upside down, but yeah, it's got all the pieces. Let's take that off. Yeah, we've got all 3 motors, 4 sensors, 4 LEDs, or not LEDs, lamps, your sound element, and yeah, that's where all the pieces go. These are mostly complete, but actually I have several copies of these in pieces because I have some of the models actually built. So I can't wait to show them off one day. This one needs 2 rotation sensors, but again, they're in builds. That's why I haven't, they're not in there. This is all the old stuff that came with it. So yeah, this was computer controlled. You hooked it up to a computer. That's your DACTA Control Lab. If you followed this channel for any length of time, you've probably seen me put this to use, whether it be with trains or great ball contraption, any of that kind of stuff. But yeah, this costs money to put all this together, all this curriculum and instructions and all different languages. You know, it's just a little bit more than your average Lego set. Let's see what's in here. Yeah, so they would always have all these kind of things, just extra kind of building principles. If you want to join 2 beams, you can do it with plates. You can do it with Technic pins. I don't want to go too in-depth with these because, again, I want to cover each set individually because they are all so awesome. And this is a good example of curriculum. I mean, look at this. There's just so much in here that somebody had to write all this, and maybe it had to be certified to be able to be used in a school. I don't really know, but this is just much more than you would ever find in a standard Lego set. That's just one book. Here's the reference book for the software. Again, huge thanks to Evan K, because he has archived these. That must have taken ages, but they are available on archive.org. I'll link that below. I actually found that well before I found these. I think I had to order these from Canada, but I was able to pick them up because this is my set. This is my spirit animal. This is the one that, God, I wanted as a kid. So now that we've looked at some sets, let's look at some of the catalogs. Okay, so we've got a few catalogs here, and they range from all the way from 1999, 2008, and 2012. So the Lego Education, that's kind of where it loses some of the nostalgia for me. But that doesn't mean they weren't doing awesome stuff. So like this catalog's going to have your NXT and power functions and some of the special power functions with the solar panel, you know, like all that kind of stuff you may have never even seen before. But for today, let's check out the Lego Pitsco Lego DACTA catalog. I don't 100% understand the partnership between Pitsco and Lego DACTA. I'd love to find more information. It's got to be out there somewhere. It may be in here. Like I haven't actually looked through this. I definitely need to archive these. I've looked into it. A good, book scanner is going to cost about $300. Of course, I could just use a phone and take pictures. I could use a flatbed scanner we have on at work, but it just takes ages to scan things. And then you have to do a lot of post work. You have to kind of edit and crop and maybe mess with the color and lighting. And it's a complete nightmare. And if you get a scanner system, it kind of does all that for you. So I think I will try to invest in that at some point in the future. This is Seymour Pipert. I think I'm saying that right, but I will probably Papert. I don't know. I may actually, maybe I could do a whole video about him because it's a fascinating story. Like he kind of he's the father of the what they call the constructionist theory of learning. He was from MIT and really got the ball kind of rolling on a lot of this stuff. He's a fascinating character. I'm not even sure what all this is, but again, it needs to be scanned. I need to get this to people. They had some really interesting Duplo sets, and massive sets. Like, look at this train setup. I don't know if you could get that big of a train setup with the kind of standard Duplo sets. Maybe, I don't know. I don't have a lot of Duplo, but they did some really cool stuff. Like, I love like little slide things they have here. You can just get kind of bulk elements. It's so cool. I don't have any of these sets. I have some. We'll see if they come up later. Okay, so these catalogs had a lot of other stuff too. A lot of educational, kind of science projects and things like that. But really, and I really loved this stuff as a kid too. The reason we got these catalogs as a kid was because we were homeschooled, and we actually ordered a couple of the smaller sets. I never had the big stuff. But we did get these catalogs, and I just poured over them because I was so fascinated by them. Because I like all of this stuff too, the electronics projects and kind of science project type things. It's really awesome to me. I better get to the Lego here. So we've got more of the same. Well, yeah, here's Lego System, a very large town set. Look at all these doors and windows. That would cost an absolute fortune. It was $26 back then. I'm hoping this is kind of coming through. I don't know if I need to zoom in post or if it's just going to be a big blur. But I tried to do my best here, set up on a tripod and everything. Yeah, this is the structure set, and it actually had like wooden. They look like popsicle sticks with holes in them. But yeah, you could build like bridges and learn about bridges. I actually had that. I think I got that at a Cracker Barrel at one point. I think I have it now somewhere because I picked one up at some point. Here's more stuff about structures, and all that kind of stuff. And bridges. I think bridges are cool. I'm down with it. Can you imagine spending $1,300 on this apparatus to test structures? That's really cool. These must have been some high-dollar schools to be able to attend, for sure. Bridge building metals. Oh man, this stuff is so cool. I feel like we've already seen a couple of these. Like, look at all the Duplo animals there. There's a lot of cool stuff. These letters, I think that's a crazy expensive set nowadays that some folks have picked up here and there. Check out that table, that play table. That, I need that in my house. Oh yeah, these huge minifigure packs. That's awesome. Why didn't they just sell this to everybody for $33? Which this is $19.99, of course. That's a lot of minifigs, a lot of really cool ones, and accessories and all that. That's great. I think that's cool. We've got some more stuff because these are by kind of categories. So this is design and events. That's why we're seeing a lot of the same sets over and over again. It's a pretty cool tool set. Yeah, this is a pretty massive set here. The technology resource set, 1,700 parts, over 1,700. It's got a motor, it's got some pneumatics and everything. Very cool. The balloon cars, those were cool. Oh yeah, the mousetrap cars. Yep. Okay, so this is cool. Like the CAD software. Very early on, well before Brickling Studio and all that. And if you needed to save some money, you could buy like the motorized simple machine set, and you could actually get it without the motor or buy it separately. If maybe you just have one motor and to pass around the class, or you could buy the whole big pack. So this is for 10 students, 5 sets. Includes the teacher support materials for free, apparently. And again, that must have been a massive investment for them to put all that stuff together. Then it comes with an activity pack too. We might talk about some of that stuff later on. Let's just keep going here. I always thought those were cool too. I don't remember if I've ever had one or not, but you would just build a basic kind of circuit with those little pieces. We've got some kind of software, things like that. Oh no, that's a book, but there is software in here. We've got the pneumatic sets, and I have some of those. And again, you can see, you know, these big packs where you would pair up your students. 20 students working in pairs. It even comes with a video, discovering fluid power video, which is right there. It'd be great to find that. That might be lost media. I don't know. I haven't seen it. Now we've got simple solar panels and motors for solar powered vehicles. Very cool. I've got a windmill, I guess, here. And man, this stuff is so awesome. I'm a huge fan of electronics too. Like this stuff, I loved this as a kid. And I used to build stuff like that. Like this stuff was very expensive. It's not like my parents were going to pay $100 and buy that. But I would go to Radio Shack and just get bits and pieces here and there and just build anything I could. So this is another pneumatic pack, and this one's much bigger and even comes with a motor. So you could actually build a compressor to run your models. We've got the pneumatic teacher guide. I don't know if I have that. I think that's the same video cassette they talked about earlier. Let's see, this set we've seen like 4 times already. More Duplo with the train tracks and accessories and everything. This is one I don't know why, but I wanted that as a kid. $25 for all of those signs. 170 elements, so I think like that would be 5 elements if it's got, I don't know how they're coming to that number. But that stuff's so cool. Like look at this vehicle set. Can you imagine going to a school that had all this stuff? That is just awesome. Oh, I had that one. And I had, I think that one and that one. I don't know if I had the forklift. I guess that's this one here. Maybe. Maybe that's what it is. That can't be right. $65 for all that? That's great. Yeah, they had the Duplo Tulo. Those were pretty cool too. I've never really come across any of that before, but yeah, you had like the little wrench and the screwdriver and everything, and you could kind of build these cool little whatever those things are. I mean, this here's some Duplo figures. All right, I'm trying to speed this up a little bit. Wow, adventurers? Okay, I didn't know that kind of stuff was in here too, and that was $19.99. Yeah, we got some video cassettes, more car stuff. I need to speed this up. More Tulo, a big Tulo supplement pack there. That's cool. Rockets. Who doesn't like rockets, right? I want to go to school and learn about rockets, right? Hot air balloons. Red Rover. So this was the kind of Mars mission of the educational world. Like they had the Mars mission expansion for the RCX set, the robotic convention system. But this was the educational version of it. And yeah, look at that software, dude. With your control panel, with your toggle switches, like that is awesome. God, we need to find that. We need to find the software. There's a lot of the lost media for this stuff is the software, especially the stuff that came on floppy disks. Need to find those. These were the Duplo kind of Technic kind of thing. So really big Technic pieces. I have a fair bit of those pieces. I don't know if I have like a complete set. I probably do. And I have some of the little booklets, the instructions. So I do want to cover those at some point. You may have seen this stuff pop up in haul videos. I've done a lot of haul videos and I picked up a lot of these sets. But yeah, so like this was, I guess for that packaging, the plastic packaging, you could just get a big bin and have, this is 12 sets, all stacked up in there. There's the levers, for those smaller little sets. More of the small sets. There's I forget how many of those there were. Still working on getting a complete set. This one. This is going to be an episode at some point. This was my first Lego DACTA set. when I was a kid. This is one of the ones that we got. This one was $67. And it's a pretty old set, I think, by the time of this publication. You know, like I said, these sets stuck around for a very long time. So we got more of the Technic kind of sets, and I think I have that set. Oh, God, I got to go through all this stuff. Like, I'm kind of behind on organizing and cataloging everything. I don't know what these robots are, but they look pretty cool, too. I'd take one. More robots. Yeah, okay, DACTA Control Lab. So this is what got me as a kid. I wanted a laptop, you know, like an IBM ThinkPad. The DACTA Control Lab. This is the Intelligent House set, and that's a really awesome set. That's one I will cover. I do have the set, but okay, here we go. I don't have the software for it. The actual dedicated software for the DACTA Intelligent House set. Again, lost media. I've talked to folks on online, and nobody's been able to find it so far. So just putting the word out there. And again, it's probably going to be on floppy disk. And then, yeah, there's the Control Labs. We'll get to that apparently. Yeah, this is the Intelligent House set. And you could get it with the DACTA Control Lab. What's that going to cost? $500. Oh, and a site license if you want to install the software on more than one computer. Oh boy. And then there's the Control Lab set. God, I love it so much. And I remember all these kids. Like, I remember all of this. It's just burned into my brain as much as I looked at it. Look at that keyboard too, man. I bet that thing clacks like nobody's business. Yeah, there's all your sensors and everything. We'll get into that stuff eventually. Yeah, so that's the Technic Control Center. And like I said, there were at least, well, there were 2 official, Lego sets that used that. And I think you could buy it on its own. I'm not sure. Again, this is a very expensive set, $700 to get a starter set. You might have to share that with between the whole classroom at that cost. The RCX, of course, was very much a part of the educational world. They used, I can't remember what it's called. RoboLab, something like that. I've never actually used this software. I've just never had a need for it. The only way it would come in handy is if it can control a Control Lab and an RCX at the same time. I don't know if it has that functionality. I know you can control either, but if you could combine them, that'd be pretty sweet. But otherwise, I have no use for that software. Yeah, more RCX stuff. I do have at least a couple of the RCX sets. Maybe I'll look at them eventually. Yeah, I have this one, the amusement park set. That's a really cool one. This is like a bumper car, I guess. Yeah, bumper car is what they call it. Very cool. Yeah, more RCX Mindstorms like that. I need that. Like I need that to come. Well, I only drink water really, but it can bring me balls of water. I'll make it work. That's another one from the amusement park set. You've got the whatever you call it thing with the chairs. Very cool. I think we're about done here. Need a protractor. Yeah, these accessory things, like, that'd be really cool to be able to buy that stuff in bulk. All these vintage parts. And of course, these lamps are actually cheaper now. Yeah, more parts and accessories and stuff. Need some extra sensors. Good Lord, $30 per sensor. These are all 30 each, 20 bucks for a touch sensor, basically. And I think that's about it. We got some real cool kids. They're going to their expensive schools and learning about Lego and science and technology. So I think that's a good place to end this off. There's just so much to cover, but I wanted to give an overview, kind of condense this information down, because I've made videos about this stuff, but it's all mostly been haul videos, and those don't get a ton of views, and they kind of bounce all over the place. I wanted to talk about Lego DACTA for however long it's been, 30 minutes, I don't know. So again, huge thanks to everyone that archives this stuff, that keeps this stuff around, even the resellers, if they don't go crazy with the price. Because I'm very just cheap. I'm not going to spend thousands of dollars on this stuff because it's rare. not many people want it. You know, it's like, is it really, worth is different than rarity. Demand has to at least factor into that. Huge thanks to the channel members for help keep the lights on here and been with me for a very long time. I absolutely appreciate it. Join us in Discord. We definitely talk about Lego DACTA a fair bit there. And if you have any information you want to send me, you know, you can email me, Discord, Twitter. I'm all over the place. I'm not hard to find. Reddit. Shoot me a message because I'm always interested to see what's out there that hasn't been found yet. Thanks to all of you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
There's not a lot of wow factor
I think we
here.
lost the piece.